The river valleys of the world were where the very first civilizations formed. Let's get to know our prehistoric ancestors. Our earliest ancestors were the Homo habilis, who emerged in Africa about 2.4 million years ago. As they developed tools for hunting, they spread out of Africa into Europe and Asia. They were soon joined by other human species such as the Homo erectus, who migrated even farther, reaching as far away as Georgia and even China. Eventually, Homo sapiens evolved in Africa around 300,000 years ago. They had larger brains and flatter faces than their predecessors. And at first they lived alongside Neanderthals and Denisovans until they were the only surviving human species after 10,000 years. The Younger Dryas period, a brief return to glacial conditions around 12,800 years ago, caused the extinction of many large animals, and forced humans to rely more on their intelligence to find new sources of food. Humans spread across the continents during this period, migrating into North America via the Barren Land Bridge, and eventually making their way down to South America. This journey took thousands of years, and humans likely hunted wild plants for food along the way. Around 10,000 BC, humans transitioned from nomadic hunters and gatherers to an agricultural society. As people domesticated plants and animals and settled down in one place, they also began to build permanent structures, make crafts, and develop more complex social structures. Early humans built huts from wood and thatch, but as they developed new technologies, they created more permanent homes made of mud, brick, or stone. They also learned to make more sophisticated tools out of metal, which allowed them to farm more efficiently. As villages grew, specialized workers developed new technologies and crafts, such as weaving, pottery, and jewelry making. In addition, more complex social structures emerged with leaders and councils making decisions for the community. Riverine civilizations, humans, first settled in river valleys, because rivers provided fertile soil for farming and a source of fresh water. The first civilization to emerge was located between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers in Mesopotamia. Mesopotamian history is divided into three periods: the Sumerian, Akkadian, and Babylonian periods. The Sumerians arrived in Mesopotamia around 2900 BCE and established city-states such as Uruk and Lega. Sumerians were the first to invent a system of writing called cuneiform, which used wedge-shaped marks pressed into clay tablets. Their religious beliefs were polytheistic, and they believed that the gods controlled all aspects of nature. To appease the gods, they built ziggurats, large stepped pyramids that served as temples. The Sumerians also developed the concept of zero and made significant advancements in mathematics and astronomy. However, their empire declined around 2350 BCE due to droughts, possibly linked to climate change, leading to famine, economic instability, and attacks from neighboring groups. After the Sumerians, the Akkadians rose to power around 2300 BCE, with their capital at Ak. Their king Sargon I united the city-states under one ruler, creating the first Mesopotamian empire, but internal conflicts and natural disasters led to its collapse. 2150 BCE, the Babylonian Empire emerged, next with Hammurabi I becoming king of Babylon in 8094 BCE. He reformed the legal system, introduced the world's first known law code, the Code of Hammurabi, and extended Babylonian rule across Mesopotamia. But like its predecessors, the empire faced challenges due to environmental issues, including salinization of the soil from irrigation, leading to soil erosion and decreased agricultural productivity. Meanwhile, across the river in Egypt, another civilization was taking shape. By 3100 BCE, Egypt was unified under one ruler and became known as the Old Kingdom. The pharaohs were considered divine rulers and were buried in massive tombs. The pyramids, which were built as symbols of their power and to protect their body and belongings in the afterlife. Egyptians kept detailed records of their history and used hieroglyphic writing to record important events and knowledge. They believed that the Nile River's annual floods brought life-giving silt to the soil and determined the fate of the pharaohs, causing them to worship the river as a god. They also developed a sophisticated system of mathematics and medicine and invented a new calendar based on the solar year. But the Old Kingdom collapsed around 2180 BCE due to economic inequality, possibly exacerbated by a decline in the Nile's flooding patterns. The ensuing Middle Kingdom saw increased trade with the outside world and a flourishing of art and literature. However, the New Kingdom from 1543 to 1069 BCE was when Egypt reached its peak power. Under powerful pharaohs like Thutmose III, Ramses II, and Akhenaten, Egypt controlled Nubia in the south and Syria in the north and became a wealthy trading empire. But internal struggles over religious reforms and external pressures from invaders led to its decline. Another significant civilization arose in the Indus River Valley in modern-day Pakistan and northwest India. Its major cities, Harappa, flourished around 2600 BCE and showcased advanced urban planning. With grid-like streets, public baths, they engaged in extensive trade networks, exchanging goods with Mesopotamia. But their empire declined around 1900 BCE, possibly due to climate change or an earthquake. In China, The first dynasty, the Xia dynasty, is believed to have been founded by Yu the Great around 2000 BCE. According to legend, he tamed the Yellow River floods and introduced a centralized government system. However, there is little archaeological evidence to confirm its existence. The Shang dynasty followed around 1600 BCE and lasted until 1046 BCE. Shang rulers performed elaborate religious ceremonies, including divination rituals, and kept detailed records on oracle bones. They kept slaves captured in war and believed that the king was the son of the most powerful deity. They also developed the first Chinese writing system and kept detailed records of their history. The Poxia and Shang period, known as the Western Zhou, began around 1046 BCE, when King Wu of Zhou overthrew the Shang dynasty. During this time, the concept of the mandate of heaven emerged, which gave rulers the right to govern based on their ability to provide good governance and prosperity to their people. If they failed to do so, they could be overthrown without being seen as a traitor. This philosophy shaped Chinese politics throughout history. As these civilizations developed, they left behind legacies that influenced later societies. For example, the Mesopotamians developed the world's first known law code, while the Egyptians made significant advancements in mathematics and medicine. The Chinese invented the first writing system and the concept of the mandate of heaven, which had a profound impact on Chinese culture and politics. These ancient civilizations laid the foundation for future societies, and their innovations and ideas continue to influence the world today. While we've only scratched the surface of early world civilizations, hopefully this gives you a framework to understand what's to come. In the next video, we'll continue to explore ancient civilizations and learn how classical civilizations developed their own unique characteristics. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss it. Thanks for watching.